Hola amigos y buenos días. Bienvenidos a otro día de español. Hello everyone. I hope you're having a good day and welcome back to some more Spanish. I'm sorry that I've taken a little while to put up the second part of chapter 2. We've really been focusing on finishing up a test in class and really making sure we're having some things mastered from chapter 1 before I went on to teach this lesson. So I decided I'd go ahead and teach it to you guys online, but we're still working on some things from chapter 1 in class. So today vamos a hablar sobre el verbo de tener y no tener. We're going to be talking about this verb tener, and we're going to talk about the ways we use it. We're going to be using it for possession mostly, but we can use it for a couple of extra things. And I need to make sure that I remember to teach this part in class too. So we're going to leave the Growing and Learning Spanish book. This is how this section starts in the book. And we're going to go to a Google document that I've prepared for you all so that we can go ahead and get started. So the verb tener, we're going to explain it exactly like I explained the verb ser, and it means to have. But I want you guys to see how we use this word to have in Spanish. We can use it for three things. One is the exact same way that we use it in English, which is to express possession. So when I talk about expressing possession, this is just one step beyond me, tu, sus, nuestros, and vuestros that we talked about in the last video, to where we can say, you know, my mom has 3 sons. So yes, we're going to express possession saying what belongs to who, or what people actually have. The second thing we can use this for, and it's something that's a little different from English, is to talk about age. And I always say age, okay? So when we're talking about age, we're not going to use ser from last chapter. I'm never going to say I am an age. I'm going to talk about how many years I have. So I will never be a number in Spanish. We're going to have some years, and we'll talk about that in a completely separate video. We're going to be saying that we can use tener to talk about our feelings. Okay, so if I have a sad feeling, I can be sad. When I'm hot, I will have heat, but I'm not going to actually have something. It's going to be me expressing my feelings and how I feel. But right now, this video is all about how we express possession, number 1. Okay, so let's take a look at how we do this in English. So when we look at the verb to have in English, I like teaching this verb because it does give a good example at how difficult it can be to learn English if you're coming from a language that has really good conjugation. And you're going to see how most of our verbs actually conjugate in English here, looking at this video. You're going to get to compare it to how much better we do our conjugation in Spanish and other languages. So in the first person, I'm using the pronoun I, and I'm going to say I have. When I get here to the second person, I'm using the pronoun you, and I'm saying you have. I don't think I need a hyphen here because I doesn't translate to have and you doesn't translate to have. I want to say I have and you have. All right. Next, in this third person, these are all the items that aren't I or you. This is the box that we're going to talk about the most. And when I'm teaching lower school, elementary school, and younger students, typically we start out with this box just so we can get going. But here is where we have words like he, she, and it. And instead of it, I'm going to say the, because I'm talking about like the dog, the cat, the class, the aunt, the uncle. They can all have. And when we're talking about any of those, what we say is has. The dog has, the class has, the school has, he has, and she has. This is our only different conjugation that we're going to use with tener. We're going to recycle the rest of the way through. So here when we're talking about we, this is where we're going to say we have. And then when we're talking about y'all, we know that this can be tricky in Spanish. So again, this is the one that we are not being tested on. Y'all, we still say have in English. And yes, when we're talking about they, whether it's boys or girls or the dogs, the classes, we still say have. So when we're looking at have, like when we look at most verbs in English, we have only 2 different conjugations, and it's all up to choosing the right pronoun for us to know who we're talking about. So now in this box right here, we're going to go ahead and conjugate tener, which is our Spanish version of to have in Spanish. Okay, so I is yo, and yo is going to match tengo. So yo tengo is how we say I have. Here with tu, with an accent on the u, we say tienes, tú tienes. And whether we're talking about él, he, ella, she, él, there's an accent on this E, not on this one. The, or la, the, and even usted, or you, sir. This is all tiene. Él tiene, ella tiene, él or la tiene, usted tiene. So whether we're talking about él, he, ella, she, él, the, la, the, or usted, you, sir, we're going to choose tiene. Our next one is nosotros. Nosotros we know means we, but also nosotros could be he and I and the other teachers, my brother and I, my family and I. All of these times when it's myself and someone else, we're going to choose nosotros, and this version is tenemos. Here again, when we're back at y'all, we know that this in Spain is vosotros. It's the way that I'm not going to specifically focus on. And what we say in Spain is tenéis, and tenéis has an accent on that E. Now, in most of the world, we're going to have this one. Well, we know we're going with the plural of he, she, and thee, which is ellos, ellas, los, las, and the plural of you is our word for y'all that we can use everywhere in the world, ustedes. All of these match tienen. So in class, I found myself explaining that, sometimes it's tricky. Why does tienen match ustedes, y'all, and ellos, ellas, los, and las? And I can understand how that can be tricky, and it's going to take more practice and reading to be able to get used to it. But think of it kind of like English, where honestly, I have, and have matches all of my pronouns. In English, we're going to have that shared pronoun just once, maybe twice if you think about the third person. But in general, there's a different version for every single pronoun. And if you include vosotros in Spain, it makes it so much easier to understand. But these are the ways that we conjugate. I'm counting on you all to focus, to practice doing this, and also to be able to use these in sentences talking about what I have, what you have, what someone else has, what we have, what y'all have if you'd like to, and what they have. So right beneath here, I've got 5 sentences to go ahead and help you get started practicing these things. You want to pause the video, go ahead and solve these, and then take a look at the answers that are coming in tres, dos, uno, now. So they don't have my class. We see our subject is they have. We want to choose the form that matches they, which would be ellos or ellas. I don't know who they is specifically in this sentence, so I'm going to need tienen. We're going to translate they is ellos. We're going to say don't have, no tienen. And now we're going to say my class, mi clase. And we can see that it's they, don't have, my class, and tienen matches they and tienen, ellos and tienen. All right, well, when do you have Spanish? Remember, when we're doing a question word, we're going to say our question word first, we're going to do the verb next, and then we're going to do the subject, okay, at the very end. So our sentence is going to be complete before you actually tell me who it is. In this case, we're using tú, you, so we won't have to be very clear with who the subject is. We're going to be clear just by choosing tienes, because tienes matches tú, and this is tú with an accent, not just a blank U. So we're going to say cuando, accent on the A, question mark, upside down question mark before this, and then we're going to choose the right form of the verb, you have. We're going to choose tienes, cuando tienes, and now we're going to say Spanish. Español. We want an ñ instead of an NA. We want an accent on this A. We want an upside down question mark here. And it says, when do you have Spanish? If you were talking about you, sir, or you, ma'am, it would say, ¿Cuándo tiene español usted? Or usted, ¿cuándo tiene español? But we're going to keep going. You guys, I'm going to highlight these since they are the answers. And let's keep it going. So we don't have classes on Saturday. Where's our subject? It's we. That's nosotros. Nosotros matches tenemos. So we're going to say nosotros no tenemos clases el viernes. And this would be acceptable as los viernes, en viernes, or just viernes. Sorry, not viernes. Viernes is Friday. We want sábado. Accent on that A as well. So we have we don't have classes Saturday. Well, how do you have homework? This is another question word. Question word, verb, and subject. Como, question word, tienes, verb, tarea. How do you have homework? Now I'm explaining that it's tú out here if you have to, but you don't have to because I know tienes only matches tú. It only works with you. So como tienes tarea is how do you have homework? Accent on the O, upside down question mark here. All right, our final one is when do y'all have math class? This one can get tricky because we don't know where to put our word y'all. If you're using the Spain way and you're choosing vosotros, then it's going to work out much easier than the ustedes way, but ustedes is something we have to learn. Vosotros is something that's optional. So the question word that we want here when we're using when is going to be cuando. So we're going to start with cuando, upside down question mark, accent on the A. We're going to say, do y'all have? Which one of these is going to match y'all have? Now, if we're in Spain, you could say tenéis. It's going to make it easier. We're going to pretend we're not in Spain and we can't say tenéis, so we need to choose one of these. We see that ustedes is our word for y'all, so we're going to say tienen. So we're going to say, ¿cuándo tienen la clase de matemáticas? So right now it says, when do they have math class? Okay, and I'm going to assume it's they because we haven't said who it is. And at the end, I could add, when do los profesores? That would change this to, when do the teachers have math class? Los alumnos would say, when do the students have math class? Cuando tiene la clase de matemáticas Juan y Kate? So now it's saying, when does John and Kate have math class? But this isn't what we want. We want y'all. So this is where we're going to put y'all. We're going to choose ustedes. Ustedes only matches tienen. It does not match tenéis. So if you have tenéis here, then what you actually have here is not ustedes, it's vosotros. You guys, I hope this wasn't too confusing. I hope that you feel like you're getting better at conjugation and writing sentences. And I hope you enjoy this video and have a happy Halloween. Adios.